Today we will discuss about critical temperatures observed on iron carbide diagram. First critical temperature observed is 210 degrees centigrade, which is known as A0, at which cementite becomes non-magnetic. Next critical temperature is called as lower critical temperature. It is 723 centigrade temperature, or in some books you will find 727 degrees centigrade. It is denoted by the symbol either A1 or AC1. At this temperature, austenite gets transformed into perlite during the time of cooling, or during the time of heating from room temperature at 723. The perlite present in the microstructure will get transformed into austenite just above 723. So in this way, the transformation is reversible. So during the time of cooling, austenite gets transformed into perlite below 723. Or you can say that below 723 there is no austenite as per iron carbide diagram. Next critical temperature is A2. This is the Curie temperature of pure iron. It is 768 degrees centigrade. At this temperature, ferrite becomes non-magnetic. Then there are two upper critical temperatures for hypoeutectic steel and hypereutectic steels respectively. The definition of upper critical temperature is the temperature at and above which 100% austenite is obtained. The temperature at and above which 100% austenite is obtained. So if you see the diagram carefully, the line starting from 910 degrees centigrade for hypoeutectic steel having carbon content less than 0.8. It is touching at 723 degrees centigrade temperature corresponding to 0.8% carbon. So this dashed or dotted curve, which has been given the name AC3, so the range of temperature will be 723 to 910 degrees centigrade. So this is the curve which is known as upper critical temperature curve for hypoeutectic steel having less than 0.8% carbon. Now again you see the diagram on the right hand side, that is if the carbon content is more than 0.8%, which are known as hypereutectic steel. So the curve which is denoted by the symbol ACM will be having temperature range from 723 corresponding to 0.8% carbon to 1146 centigrade temperature corresponding to 2% carbon, because we know that the hypereutectic steel will have more than 0.8% carbon and theoretically less than 2% carbon. So ACM is 723 to 1146. Remember the definition, the temperature at and above which 100% austenite is obtained. So this was about the iron carbide equilibrium diagram. The concept of equilibrium, you know, it is nothing but the data obtained on the diagram are only valid and applicable if the alloy system has been cooled at a very slow rate, that is furnace cooling. So very slow cooling rate or furnace cooling or equilibrium cooling, this all the three different things have got the same meaning. But practically it is observed that the steels are rarely cooled at such a very slow rate, because neither the time permits us, because if the time taken in any treatment is more, then the production cost will be increased, nor the mechanical properties obtained are favorable. That's why we rarely cool the steel at such a slow rate in the industries. So what will happen if you violate the equilibrium condition? Violation of equilibrium condition means cooling rate faster than furnace cooling. It may be anyone, right from air cooling to oil cooling, water cooling, or cooling in polymer quenching. So the effect of quenching medias, that thing will in the uh, category of hardening treatment. So suppose another diagram which we are going to see now, if the steel is rapidly cooled from austenitic temperature. The definition of austenitic temperature is, it is nothing but the temperature at and above which 100% austenite is obtained. So upper critical temperature is the austenitic temperature. So from austenitic temperature, here I have mentioned AC1 as the upper critical temperature. If you see the diagram for iron carbon diagram, then for 0.8% carbon, you may note it, upper critical and lower critical are same. AC1 is the lower critical temperature at which transformation of austenite into pearlite will be taking place during the time of cooling, or pearlite will get transferred into austenite during the time of heating. And as per the definition of upper critical temperature, 8 and above which 100% austenite is obtained. So if you see carefully, for 0.8% carbon at room temperature, the structure will have 100% pearlite below 723. And if this structure having 0.8% carbon having 100% pearlite is heated to just above 723, it will get transformed into 100% austenite. So in this way, for 0.8% carbon, lower critical and upper critical will be same. So this is the reason why we have mentioned for 0.8% carbon, AC1 as the austenitic temperature. So if the 0.8% carbon steel is rapidly cooled from this austenitic temperature to just below 723 to any one temperature, say T1, and hold at this temperature for a certain time period length. So we are constantly holding the steel at temperature T1. If you hold the steel for a few minutes, which will cross the PF point. PS and PF points are corresponding to the pearlite start and pearlite finish points. PS means at temperature T1, after the time period of say 10 seconds, the pearlite transformation will begin. Austenite into pearlite transformation will begin or start. And say after 4 minutes at temperature T1, the complete transformation of austenite into pearlite will be taking place. So corresponding to this time at temperature T1, we will mark a point as PF. So for all the different temperatures, the in this way the different PS and PF are obtained. So we are talking about the temperature T1. First of all, we have rapidly cooled the steel from austenite temperature to T1 temperature, and now due to prolonged holding it for say time period length 4 minutes, then you will find that all of austenite has been transformed into perlite. Similarly, if the observation is done at other lower temperatures, then the transformation pattern will be same. But when you reach up to the temperature T2, say this temperature is 550, from austenite temperature, if steel is rapidly cooled to 550, rapidly cooled means we are not allowing transformation of austenite into any other phase below 723. So when the steel is rapidly cooled to 550 and hold for a certain time period length, then in another phase will start to get transformed, which is known as bainite. So as we had mentioned, the moment or time period at which the perlated transformation starts and perlated transformation is finished at that particular temperature. Similarly, we have to note down the time period at which bainite transformation will start and bainite transformation will be finished at temperature T2. Now, what is the difference between perlite and bainite? As bainite is obtained at lower transformation temperature, as you can see in the time temperature transformation diagram. Perlite PS and PA points have been shown in the higher temperature zone, 700 say 700 to 650 or 600, and below 600 the BS and BA points have been shown, which belongs to the bainitic zone. So as the bainite is obtained at lower transformation temperature, so it will have a very fine mixture of ferrite and cementite. Perlite is also the mixture of ferrite and cementite. But in case of bainite, which is obtained at a lower transformation temperature, here fineness of the microstructure will be very high. Why? Because as the transformation temperature is cooling rate is increased or transformation temperature is decreased, the nucleation rate will be very fast and growth rate will be very slow. It means whatever particles have been transformed, whatever particles have been transformed or nucleated, they will not have sufficient time to be grown up. So it will result in the formation of fine structure. So at lower temperature, due to lack of sufficient time to be grown up, it will result in the formation of very fine structure. So you must have got the difference between perlite and bainite. Perlite and bainite both are the mixtures of ferrite and cementite. But what is the basic difference? In case of bainite, the mixture is so fine that it cannot be resolved under optical metallurgical microscope. And one thumb rule you may remember: faster the cooling rate, finer the structure, better the mechanical properties. Better the mechanical properties. So on the basis of this thumb rule, you may now conclude that the magnetic structure will have more strength, more toughness, more hardness in comparison to perlitic structure having same carbon content. So this is the effect of structure, influence of structure on the mechanical behavior. If the steel is further cooled at a faster rate, then another phase is obtained which is called Martensite. So in the time temperature transformation diagram, you must have noticed another point ms on the temperature axis. On the time axis, nothing has been mentioned. It means this multisided transformation is an thermal transformation. It doesn't depend upon time. While paralytic and magnetic transformation will depend upon temperature as well as time. How? Paralytic transformation in the high temperature zone corresponding to points PS and PA. Similarly, magnetic transformation corresponding to somewhat lower temperature, say T2 and less than T2, corresponding to points BS and BA, while the multistatic transformation corresponds to only MS, that is the temperature at which multistatic transformation will just start or begin. And if you hold below MS for any time period length, if you cool the steel rapidly to just below ms and hold it for any time period length, you will find that there is no change in the microstructure. So the untransformed austenite will only completely get transformed into martensite if you touch the temperature mf. So in this way, martensitic transformation depends on only temperature. It doesn't depend upon time. So here I have mentioned, if cooling rate is further increased in another phase known as martensite is obtained, it is diffusionless transformation. Why? Because we have cooled it at a very fast rate. From AC1, within a fraction of second, we have brought down the temperature to just below ms. As we have mentioned the temperature T1 and T2 as 650 and 550. Say ms temperature is 150. So imagine in which case the cooling rate will be very fast. In order to bring down the temperature from AC1 to T1 or AC1 to T2 or from AC1 to ms. So you must be getting the point. The cooling rate is in increasing order from perlite to bainite and then bainite to martensite. So very fast cooling rate is required to bring down the temperature from AC1 to just below ms. So there will be no time for the diffusion to take place among the microconstituents, among the atoms of the microconstituents. So it is a diffusionless transformation. Then how the transformation of austenite to martensite will take place if it is not by diffusion? It is very hard and brittle. It has body-centered tetragonal structure. And the mechanism by which the transformation will be taking place, it is by shear mechanism. It is by shear mechanism. This BCT structure is very hard and brittle. So we try to convert austenite into martensite by subjecting the steel to hardening treatment. As its name indicates, the purpose of conducting hardening heat treatment is to increase hardness. So what we will do in hardening treatment, we will try to convert maximum amount of austenite into martensite, because martensite is very hard and brittle due to having BCT structure, body centered tetragonal structure. In brief, now I will give you an idea about the heat treatment of steel. So what is the meaning of heat treatment? Heat treatment is a controlled sequence of heating and cooling to bring about the desired changes in the microstructure. What is the purpose of bringing desired changes in the microstructure? The purpose is to bring about the desired changes in the mechanical properties. For example, slower cooling may result in the formation of coarse grained structure. The particle size will be coarse, it will be big and enlarged. For example, it is the transformation of austenite into perlite. Medium cooling rate may generate another phase like benite instead of perlite. And fast cooling rate may cause transformation of austenite into hard phase like martensite. Suppose the steel is heated up to the temperature 1000 and it is cooled to 100 degrees centigrade in 1 second, in 10 seconds and in 100 seconds. So what will be the cooling rates? In case number 1, cooling rate will be 900 degrees centigrade per second. In second case, the cooling rate will be 90 degree centigrade per second. And in the third case, it will be 900 degree centigrade per second. So in this way, case number 1 is the fast cooling rate and last one is the example of slow cooling rate. Now we will start with the heat treatment process. First heat treatment is annealing. The process consists of heating the steel to above critical temperature. For hypoheated steel, the heating temperature will be AC3 plus 50. It means from just above upper critical temperature. And for the annealing treatment to be given to the hyperheated steels having more than 0.8% carbon, the heating temperature will be above AC1, lower critical temperature. It is 723 plus 50. So these are the heating temperature. We will discuss about the reason why the for hyperheated it is AC1 plus 50 and for hypo it is AC3 plus 50. Next step, holding or soaking to equalize temperature at surface and center. What is the purpose of holding or soaking? The time period is normally 20 centimeter per second, thickness or diameter of the object. So depending upon the thickness or diameter of the component, the holding or soaking time period will be decided. What is the purpose of holding or soaking? To bring about the equalization of the temperature at surface and center. And then followed by furnace cooling. That is by just switching off the furnace. It means in the annealing heat treatment, we do strictly follow the equilibrium conditions under which the iron carbide equilibrium diagram had been plotted. So remember, this is the only heat treatment in which the very slow cooling rate or equilibrium cooling rate or furnace cooling is followed.